And America First Policy Institute Executive Director Chad Wolf. Chad, always great to see you. This violence brought upon the United States of America because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's open border. How will it be stopped?
Well, it's going to be stopped when you have a new chief executive in there that wants to actually secure the border and wants to protect American communities. Look, over the last 2 years, you've had over 615,000 Venezuelans come across that border or have entered into the United States, and over 100,000 have actually been flown in from Venezuela by the Biden administration. They didn't even have to cross that southern border on the land. They were simply flown in and given parole under this administration. These are all policy choices that the Biden-Harris team has made over the last several years that have put communities at risk. And they see the same reporting that you have and the same numbers that you do. And yet, month after month after month, they don't end that program from Venezuela. And in fact, they continue it month after month after month. And so in August and in September and October, you'll continue to see upwards to 10 to 20,000 Venezuelans come into the country.
So, Chad, again, if you want to open up the border, okay, they open up the border. Listen, I'm opposed to it. But the problem is when people come into the country, one of two things happen. Either the administration vets the migrant and they know they have the gang members and criminals and they let them into the country, or they don't vet anybody and just let everybody into the country. No matter what one is happening, vetting or no vetting, the consequence is the same and they're equally bad. What is happening? Again, if you want to open up the border, how are you getting all these criminals in? Are they not vetting, or are they vetting and letting the bad dudes in?
Well, look, the vetting regime is hit or miss, right? In the sense of the only way to vet an individual from Venezuela is what they're doing now, right? So they're checking U.S. holdings, U.S. databases to say, has this individual come into the United States and do they have a record? And if they don't, that's all they're checking, because Venezuela does not share information with the United States. So if they are a dangerous individual in Venezuela, U.S. law enforcement, Border Patrol specifically, almost has no information to do that check against. All they know is they're not wanted, they're not a criminal here in the United States. But if they've never entered the United States or they're coming here for the first time, they're not going to have that record. And so it's very difficult. That's why you don't continue this dangerous policy of just catching individuals and releasing them that we've seen the Biden-Harris team do for 3.5 years now. You have to deter that behavior, and then you start seeing a different change in that behavior, and you start seeing less individuals coming, less dangerous individuals coming. That's the only way to stop this, is to bring some deterrence back to the system.
Right, and somebody like Jared Polis, the governor of Colorado, literally denying and gaslighting people who call attention to the gang Tren de Aragua that is taking over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Moving on to this, looks like San Francisco is finally waking up. The sanctuary city is said to be deporting migrants with ties to drug bust. But far too many people have had to suffer for them to take action. Fentanyl killing more than 650 people in the city in just the past year. But if Kamala Harris has it her way, the dealers killing those people would be on the 3-strike system, only charging them after their third arrest. Should we be hopeful that San Francisco is finally getting a soul and a gut in terms of dealing with these individuals, Chad?
Well, it's certainly nice to be hopeful. I'm not sure that we can be at this point. We'll have to see what other measures they take there. But look, this goes to the point of every sanctuary city and every sanctuary jurisdiction around the country, and San Francisco surely is not alone there, which is, I think they're all getting tired of what they see in their communities. They're tired of over 3.5 years, almost 4 years now, of massive amounts of illegal aliens coming into their community and basically being shielded from law enforcement and taking a number of criminal acts. And they're saying, look, I'm tired of it. I'm glad they're now saying it. Unfortunately, they shouldn't have put their communities through that for over 3.5 years or more, however long they've been that sanctuary jurisdiction. The only thing that provides sanctuary inside these jurisdictions is you're providing sanctuary from federal law enforcement, and you're putting others at risk. And I am hopeful that San Francisco and other jurisdictions start to see that and start to see that there's actually benefits to making sure that you have criminals illegal aliens that are committing criminal acts, let's turn them over to federal law enforcement and let's remove them.
All right, Chad Wolf, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yep. Notice to Jared Polis in Colorado, who signed a sanctuary state law in 2019. Shameful.
Shameful. All right. Thanks, Chad.